G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe, America's movable fighting man, the most realistic toy soldier the world has ever known. Army combat with G.I. Joe. Action soldier. Beachhead assault with G.I. Joe. Action marine. Underwater demolition with G.I. Joe. Action sailor. Air Force scramble with G.I. Joe. Action pilot. Unlike the little soldiers you used to play with, G.I. Joe is almost a foot tall. He moves just the way you do. 21 movable parts, over 1,000 fighting positions. And with the authentic G.I. Joe equipment available, you can bring a new kind of realism to playing soldier. Get G.I. Joe in the basic uniform and start collecting your G.I. Joe equipment today. It's a Hasbro toy. You are there. You are there with G.I. Joe, America's movable fighting man. Aiming a rifle, charging, kneeling, crawling, throwing a grenade. G.I. Joe, the soldier you can put into over 1,000 fighting positions. Almost a foot tall, he's a soldier big enough to really play with. And you make him move just the way you do. 21 movable parts, so real he almost seems alive. With G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment available, you'll feel like a commanding general. For a new kind of realism in playing soldier, get G.I. Joe, action soldier, marine, sailor, pilot, and all of the wonderful G.I. Joe equipment. Get G.I. Joe in the basic uniform and start collecting your G.I. Joe equipment today. It's a Hasbro toy.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
TV's new hero is G.I. Joe. And just look at all the authentic G.I. Joe equipment you can get. Machine guns, tents, rifles, high-altitude helmets, frogman suits. You can build hundreds of exciting battle action scenes. But don't try to get everything at once. Look, when you get the bivouac set, sandbags, and the helmet package, you can set up G.I. Joe soldier action for hours of fun. When you get the command post box, you'll have a .45 pistol with holster, a field radio, field telephone, map and map case, and a waterproof poncho. Start collecting official G.I. Joe equipment and get the official G.I. Joe footlocker so you can keep your uniforms and equipment in it. G.I. Joe. It's a Hasbro toy.
Where's he going? To play with G.I. Joe, outside.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
Yes, now is the time to play with G.I. Joe outside, at the beach, in a park, around a lake, even in your own backyard. And because you're outside, you can set up G.I. Joe combat action with more realism than you ever dreamed of. G.I. Joe takes a hill, and it's a real hill. The Marines have landed, and it's a real beachhead. You can even play with G.I. Joe frogmen near the water. With G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe equipment, you can build all sorts of exciting battle action. More exciting because it's outside. Start collecting G.I. Joe equipment today. And remember, whether you play with G.I. Joe outdoors or indoors, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Two, three, four, got one Joe, get some more.
When you get 2 G.I. Joes, you can set up a scouting patrol, a forward communications post, even a Navy attack with frogmen. With 3 G.I. Joes, you can build a machine gun emplacement. With snipers, too. The more G.I. Joes you have, the more exciting the battle action. And with all the authentic G.I. Joe equipment you can get, you'll have a new kind of realism playing soldier.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air. 2, 3, 4, got one Joe, get some more.
Yes, get more G.I. Joes. Then you'll be able to build the sort of battle scenes you've always wanted. Go down to your toy store and see what's new for you in G.I. Joe.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
Have you heard the big news about G.I. Joe? They've got a deep-sea diving suit, just like regulation U.S. Navy. And it actually works in water. Watch it dive to the bottom. Watch the bubbles as you send down air and bring the diver back to the surface. Authentic underwater action with G.I. Joe Deep Sea Diver.
Your toy store has all the uniforms to fit your G.I. Joes, so you can have any battle action. Medics for battle casualties, frogmen, even a ski patrol.
If you haven't started your G.I. Joe collection, everything is new. Machine guns, rifles, radio telephones, tents, everything you need to play G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
Go down to your toy store and see what's new for you in G.I. Joe.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
Have you heard the big news about G.I. Joe? They've got a U.S. Army 5-star Jeep set. Looks like the real thing. Has 3-speed GI engine sound, battery-operated searchlights, a recoilless rifle that really shoots. Your G.I. Joe rides in it, fights in it.
I drive a Jeep, and this is the real thing. Just like all the other G.I. Joe equipment. Just like G.I. Joe himself, most realistic toy soldier a boy ever played with.
G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
Remember, G.I. Joe is the toy soldier with 21 movable parts. He stands almost a foot tall, and you can get enough G.I. Joe equipment to build any battle action. Go down to your toy store and see what's new for you in G.I. Joe.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
G.I. Joe, fighting man.
Now a new world of fun with G.I. Joe Army. G.I. Joe's a machine gunner, a rifleman, a scout with telephone. More, he fights on skis. He belongs to the mountain troops. Still more? Okay, this new one comes from the headlines. The Green Beret G.I. Joe, Special Forces uniform, portable transmitter, Special Forces rifle, and you can get a 10-inch bazooka that really works. Authentic? With G.I. Joe, you can almost hear the boom of the big guns. Big guns like the one on the G.I. Joe 5-star Jeep. 4 rockets ready for action. A realistic Army Jeep, battery-operated engine sound, and a working searchlight on the trailer. Action? You've got it with G.I. Joe Army. G.I. Joe is the greatest. Nothing else is G.I. Joe.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
Do you have a G.I. Joe set up like this? Billy does.
I started with 2 soldiers. Look at it now. The G.I. Joe Jeep is great. And it works, too. And look, I just got the Green Beret G.I. Joe and 3 of the foreign soldiers.
That's great, isn't it? Look at Jimmy.
I built an airstrip with G.I. Joe pilots. But look what's new. I just got the space capsule and the spacesuit, too.
Makes you want to get started, doesn't it? Look at Tommy.
I built a landing beach with Marines and sailors. And I just got the deck commander and the firefighter. They're great. And look, the sea sled that really dives underwater.
Like those G.I. Joe setups? Build one yourself. All you have to do is start. And your toy store's the place.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
Say, G.I., have you heard what's new? 4 G.I. Joes that all talk too. Sound off. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. Sound off for more fun, more action, too, with 4 new talking G.I. Joes. Just pull their dog tags and listen to the commands.
Fighter pilots, scramble.
Get talking G.I. Joe, Action Air Force, and the new fighter pilot suit. Bail out with a parachute that actually works. Get talking G.I. Joe, Action Navy.
Now hear this.
Plus the new working breeches boy set that you operate. Get talking G.I. Joe Action Marine. Make your own realistic action. And there's talking G.I. Joe Action Army.
Take the Jeep and get some ammo.
Just put him in the driver's seat of the G.I. Joe Jeep. Sound off. Get more fun, more realistic action. Get talking G.I. Joe today. It's talking G.I. Joe from Hasbro.
G.I. Joe, U.S. Army, reporting for duty.
Your new G.I. Joe talks. All you do is pull his dog tag to make him command and lead all your other G.I. Joes through real exciting adventures.
Take the Jeep and get some ammo.
Your secret mission begins. Ammo is secured, and the recoilless rifle on your Jeep is ready for attack.
Commence firing.
Your Talking Joe also takes your games underwater.
Frogmen, check your scuba gear.
And your frogmen begin a mission aboard the G.I. Joe Sea Sled. Battery operated, it glides on the surface and dives underwater. Let the new Talking Joe command all your GIs. Get him wherever G.I. Joe is sold. G.I. Joe by Hasbro. He talks.
Hey, gang! Billy's got the new G.I. Joe adventure packs. Come on!
Here's a whole new kind of action fun for you. Talking G.I. Joe in the new adventure packs. Choose from hundreds of pieces of equipment on 18 different G.I. Joe adventure packs. Here's the 4-service pack. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. The special footlocker loaded with authentic G.I. Joe equipment. And the big value Talking G.I. Joe adventure pack.
Take Hill 79.
You'll have a complete toy soldier adventure in a package when you own a Talking G.I. Joe adventure pack. Get more fun. Get new G.I. Joe adventure packs today, all at special value prices. But don't waste time. Get to your toy store right now and be sure to look for the special G.I. Joe adventure pack display.
And here is G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. G.I. Joe has hands that grip. Fingers you hold open and let close. Hands that hold on with a Kung Fu Grip. The grip you help Joe use in self-defense. G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. The hands...
G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attack! Boom, boom! G.I. Joe takes the hill! Bam, bam! Horrific battle!
Terrific equipment to have a battle with. When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment, you'll have the greatest realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Box after box of authentic uniforms and equipment, so you can change your G.I. Joe soldier into a camouflage Marine ready for battle, a Navy frogman with complete scuba suit and inflatable life raft, an Air Force pilot with high-altitude helmet and air vest. Get G.I. Joe and get G.I. Joe equipment, so you can set up exciting battle action whenever you want. Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Here are 2 G.I. Joe action packs. Your G.I. Joe gets a secret message to deliver. Quickly, you put together his drag bike action pack, and he's on his way. Meanwhile, your buddy's Joe is on patrol in the turbocopter action pack, when suddenly, roadblock. Uh-oh, Joe's trapped. Can the turbocopter rescue Joe? Mission accomplished. Drag bike or turbocopter. 2 action packs from G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe sold separately. This is the rugged G.I. Joe adventure team. Today's mission, rescue stolen idol. Your own G.I. Joe will need the adventure team helicopter. Joe gets it together and takes off. There it is, but it's guarded by a giant cobra. Can Joe get the idol? You find out. Search for the stolen idol, a G.I. Joe adventure. G.I. Joe sold separately. Here are 2 G.I. Joe action packs. Your G.I. Joe gets a secret message to deliver. Quickly, you put together his drag bike action pack, and he's on his way. Meanwhile, your buddy's Joe is on patrol in the turbocopter action pack, when suddenly, roadblock. Uh-oh, Joe's trapped. Can the turbocopter rescue Joe? Mission accomplished. Drag bike or turbocopter. 2 action packs from G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe sold separately. Introducing the new G.I. Joe Adventure Team. 5 rugged men with lifelike hair. They're outfitted for action, and they take their orders from this man, the Adventure Team Commander.
I've got a tough assignment for you.
The G.I. Joe Adventure Team. They'll dare anything and risk everything. Collect the new G.I. Joe Adventure Team and add to the action with Adventure Team sets. G.I. Joe, now with lifelike hair from Hasbro. Here's the G.I. Joe Mobile Support Vehicle, and your Joe's in the driver's seat. Today's mission, a radioactive satellite is down and must be found. Quickly, you activate the radar scope and searchlight and launch the aerial camera. There's the satellite. No time to lose. So you move Joe out in the scout car. Will Joe get there in time? Create your own adventures with the G.I. Joe Mobile Support Vehicle. G.I. Joe sold separately.
Pretend there's trouble for G.I. Joe. You gotta get out, you're G.I. Joe. Copter's waiting, time to go. Gotta rescue G.I. Joe. Better move out, you're G.I. Joe. Mission accomplished, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe Adventure Team Helicopter, each sold separately.
From all over the neighborhood, Adventure Team members and equipment arrive for the opening of G.I. Joe headquarters. Flash, a radio message from the tower. Adventure Team member caught in quicksand. Get the maps. Here's the location. Get going, Joe, and good luck. Back in the tower, Joe signals, help on the way. We'll help get there in time. Create your own adventures. G.I. Joe Adventure Team headquarters. G.I. Joes and ATVs sold separately.